guys, it's Grace with Grace Gets Gastric, and I am here today for another kind of beauty related video. A lot of people have been asking for a video on my lash extensions and kind of that process and my experience with it, and yeah, it wasn't something I would have planned to do. I mean, obviously this is not really a beauty channel, but they are something that I do get frequently. I have lash extensions in, and I've been doing that since August, so a while now, and people were curious, and I have no problem sharing that information, so I thought I would. If you are not interested in this content, go ahead and close the video. You don't have to watch. That's why I'm making a whole separate video instead of putting it in my normal weight loss videos. I know my video on my lip injections is like my most disliked video, which is still not very high because I don't have that many viewers, but some people were not happy about that video, and cool, that's valid, that's your choice, but you don't have to watch it. No one's forcing you. And I'm also not advocating that other people do this. I'm just sharing my experience, and I'll continue to do whatever the hell I want. Anyways, lash extensions. So I got my first lash extensions about a year ago, a little over a year ago, in October of 2017, before I went on a trip to England. I did it through Groupon, which I'll link below if you haven't heard of Groupon. There are often a lot of good lash extension deals in the area, in my area at least. Of course, your stylist could be good, could be bad. If you're really looking into it and you aren't super concerned about price, I would probably ask somebody that you know that has them maybe and see who they go to if you like how theirs look. I went to Groupon. I happen to really love the person I went to, and she's the only person I've ever gone to. So keeping in mind that my experiences are just my own, just with this one person, so your experience could be very different, your price could be different, all of that could be different. So when I did the Groupon, I paid $90 for for a full set, and the lady I go to for a full set, non-discounted, it's $200, which is maybe a smidge high, but not super unreasonable for getting a full set of lashes. I do want to make a little disclaimer. I talk about prices because you can Google that shit yourself, and so it's not like I'm fooling anyone, and I want to be upfront and honest about it, and I don't have any concerns about being upfront and honest, but do keep in mind that my income is essentially 100% disposable. I don't have any dependents, no children. I'm not paying for any other person or pet. I am debt-free, and so I can really, and I happen to live in a place and have the same expenses that I did when I first got out of college, and I've since then I make double what I did back then. So I have a decent amount of money to play around with, which means that I can afford to do some things that are definitely luxuries, and I feel very lucky and privileged to be able to do that. But that's not going to be the case for everyone. So just want to kind of put that out there, that these are not cheap. But they are a self-care thing that I find worth paying my money for. So like I said, $90 for the full set, or $200 if you're not having the discounted price. And then the woman I go to has different prices for different sets of fills. So there's a 60-minute fill, a 90-minute fill, and a partial set. So for the 60-minute fill, that is $60. And that's within, if you go back within 3 weeks. Between 3 and 4 weeks is a 90-minute fill, which is $90. And if it's more than 4 weeks, then that is a partial set, and that is, I believe, $120. And then of course you want to tip on top of that at least 20%. So I generally go about every 3 weeks and get mine done. I usually get between the 60-minute and the 90-minute, depending on when I can get in. So I go once every 3 to 4 weeks to get them done, and I pay $60 to $90 for each fill, then tip on top of that. So also keep in mind when I say 60-minute fill, so my lady is very detailed, and she really does she just does a really good job, but she ends up spending a longer time than you might get elsewhere. So a 60-minute fill usually ends up being 2 hours when I'm there. She always goes over time, but I think that's because she kind of goes above and beyond, which can be annoying if you're like trying to work on a schedule and you can't spend. Like the first time I got my full set done, it was 5 hours. That is very uncommon from what I've heard, but just something to note. So I'm just trying to like, I went through a little checklist of like things to talk about. I'm sorry if this video is all over the place. It's kind of a weird thing. Oh, at the end, I'll try to do comparison photos. I've been doing them now consistently for so long that I don't know if I have really good ones of me without them, but I'll show you ones like before a 3-week session and then right after. And then, you know, these are my lashes now, and I got them done 4 days ago. So this is me 4 days post lashes. I was like, I almost said post-op. Not post-op. I don't consider it an operation. So, like I said, when I go in for a fill, it tends to be usually between an hour and a half and 3 hours, depending on how long it's been and how depleted my lashes are for me. So I go in, when you do the first meeting, the consult, you know, like there's like a little consult at the beginning. So you talk about how you want your lashes to look. So you talk about the shape. So for example, when I first went in, I thought I wanted kind of like a cat eye where they go longer on the outside. And she, you know, she looked at me and she was like, well, your natural lashes are more of a baby doll where they're a little bit longer in the middle and a little bit shorter on each side. And so she's like, I can do the cat eye if that's what you want, but I think it'll look more natural and look better on your face if we do more of the baby doll style, which we did. And I totally agree. And I'm very happy with that. So you should be working with, you know, your lash stylist to come up with like a good consult, you know, consult. She'll talk, she asked how long do you want them to be? So she kind of had me point like how far out I wanted them to go. You talk about curl, you talk about length. There's the amount, you know, how many you have. And so if you have more lashes, if you have less lashes, then there's a limit to how full they can be because you attach them to your real lashes. So if you have very sparse lashes, they can definitely still work with that, but it's also limited to what your natural lashes look like. And you know, they want to make it look natural. One thing I do like about them, if you wear glasses, you can still have fake lashes. In fact, they work much better than false lashes, because false lashes, if you wear glasses, you know, false lashes often bump against the glass. And these are a little bit more natural and you can have them curl up more so that they don't hit the glass. And I wear glasses rarely, but I wear contacts normally. But I've worn glasses to my sessions to make sure, you know, that they fit well. So you can definitely customize it that way. So once you kind of decide, she has me like clean my face. So she has some cleaner, has me kind of wash my lashes and make sure to get all those oils off of it because the glue sticks to them. And then we get started. So I actually really enjoy the process. It's kind of meditative almost. You just kind of lie on this like nice bed with your eyes closed, right? Your eyes closed the whole time. My lady usually plays podcasts. So I get to listen to interesting podcasts. We talk a little bit, but usually not too much. Honestly, she's pretty focused and then I just listen to the podcast. And it's basically just like a nice excuse to take a time out and not do anything for a few hours. You know, like I can't be fucking around on my phone. I can't be multitasking and doing a million things. All I can do is just lie there. So I actually really enjoy it personally. And she gets to work, you know, like they put like a tape thing down and then they like tape your lashes with like a very gentle tape. So it's not gonna like tear them out, but tapes it down so that they don't stick to your lower lashes. And then you just close your eyes the whole time. She kind of disinfects. And then, I mean, I think it's just fascinating, like the way they can do it. Like it's art, honestly. The glue can sometimes irritate your eyes. It also depends on like where the glue is from, like the kind of glue it uses. Generally speaking, I don't have any reactions. I haven't had any reactions to mine that are super bad, but there is sometimes like a little bit of tenderness and like mild irritation from like the fumes, but it's usually very mild for me. Like if it was too intense, obviously I wouldn't do it. But it was the most intense the first time I ever did it because it was such a sustained session for me. But again, that's going to depend on where you go. So then after you get them done, you want to make sure you avoid basically getting them wet for 24 to 48 hours or 12 to 48 hours, depending. So don't work out if you're going to be sweating a lot. Don't swim. Don't shower. Don't cry if you can avoid it. You know, just basically don't get them wet because the glue is kind of still setting. And then after that, you are free to wash them, and you should wash them. I do that when I'm in the shower with a makeup brush, like a fluffy makeup brush like this, and baby shampoo. So I like put a little bit of baby shampoo in my hand, and I work it into a lather, and then I close my eyes and I kind of pet it over, and then I run it under the water. It is kind of weird when they're wet. That was like, because the like water gathers and then it gets in your eyes, so I kind of have to like squeeze the water out gently. You know, I usually just kind of press it down a little bit so the water comes out, the water droplets, without like tugging them. So that was something that was kind of weird. And then just generally speaking, you can still, then you can get them wet after that 24, 48 hours, but you generally want to avoid sustained moisture. So like, don't get them if you're going to go on like a swimming trip and be swimming and scuba diving or, you know, snorkeling for significant amounts of time, or if you're going to be in lots of saunas constantly. That sweat and steam and water can loosen the glue. And then you also want to avoid any kind of oil-based products. So I tend to try to, you know, when I'm putting on my nightly lotion, you know, let it kind of dry a little bit before I'm like rubbing my eyes with it. You don't want to use any kind of oil-based eye products or makeup remover, because that will break down the glue as well. But you can wear makeup. You don't want to wear mascara at all while you are wearing them. You don't need it, and that will kind of make them look grody and be hard to clean, because they, you know, these lashes will catch on things like a makeup pad. So you want to not wear mascara. You can wear it on the bottom lashes. I really only do that if I'm like going out, so I want like a little bit more of a dramatic effect. But I do wear eyeshadow. Not right now, but that was just because I was lazy this morning. And I honestly feel the need to wear makeup less. So I still do wear makeup on like occasions or when I want to play, but I just feel the need less to wear, like I don't feel like I need to wear makeup as much. I wear makeup because I enjoy it, but it's also nice that I just feel more put together. You know, I usually just do my face, my brows, and then like a bold lip, and I feel like I look like I put in more effort than I did. So that's one of the reasons I love the lashes and why I think the expense is worth it, because I just think it makes you look, I feel like it makes me look and feel more ready for the day, more put together, more professional and polished, with a lot less effort. So I can sleep in an extra 10 minutes so that I don't have to spend on my eye makeup. For when I do wear makeup, to remove it, I usually do like a face pad, like a face wipe on most of my face, and then I'll like close my eyes and like do the face wipe for most of the eyes, and then, you know, like there's just gonna be like a little bit on the lash line, and then I get a Q-tip and dip it in an oil-free makeup remover and then very gently remove it that way. You can still apply like liquid eyeliner. Just note, like the closer you get to that lash line, the more difficult it's gonna be to remove without tugging on those lashes. And you'll wanna make sure that you don't use a waterproof liquid liner, or because then you have to do a lot of rubbing, and that's really not great for the lashes either. Also, just as a note, it's a lot harder to apply winged liner or like liquid liner, because the lashes get in the way. They're just so much longer that like trying to do a wing, it's just like you're not used to having them there. That is something that it took me a while, and I still am not super good. You basically have to relearn how to do a winged liner. So that's just a note. I do a lot less liquid liner, partially because I don't need it, partially because it's a little bit more of a pain to remove, and partially because it's just harder to apply with the lashes. But I also don't feel the need to do a dramatic wing liner as frequently as I did before, because my lashes kind of give me that more dramatic look. Maintenance. So I did tell about the baby shampoo for washing, and then my lady gives me spoolies after each one. You're gonna want a spoolie because they do get a little bit mangled, and I think you'll see in my before photo I'll show at the end. Mine had kind of gotten a little bit twisty, and I didn't bother with it because I was going to get them filled. But particularly I do them every morning after I wake up, because when you sleep on it, that can cause them to kind of move around. And then I do it after the shower just to kind of brush them out. I basically keep one of these everywhere, one in my car, one in my purse, one in my backpack, all that stuff. And for sleeping, I sleep on my face, I sleep on my side. I sleep on satin pillowcases. That sounds so pretentious. I started doing that because it's really good. It's better for your skin and your face because it doesn't leave like face creases, so it's just better. And then it's also good for the lashes because it doesn't tug as much on them, but it's by no means a necessity. And then finally for removal. So I have not removed these since I started getting them again in August, but you don't want to remove them yourself because that can cause your actual lashes to fall out. So you recommend if you're gonna have them removed to go to a professional and get them removed. They'll do a removing for you. You usually do have to pay a little bit for that, or just wait for them to fall out on their own. There is gonna be a process though when they're starting to fall out where your lashes do not look cute. And in that case, you might start using mascara to kind of fill them in. But you do want to be careful because you don't want your actual lashes to fall out because you were too impatient. And I've seen people kind of like irritate their eyes because they were like tugging at them. So that's just something to be aware of. And then also just a note, and I definitely noticed this the first time when I got them removed, is that it's going to make your regular lashes seem really short. I was convinced that mine had shrunk and my sister was like, no, they're the same. It's just you get so used to them. Even the first time I only had them for like a month and a half, I think. So not as long as I've had them now. Now it's going to be painful because I have very short lashes naturally, very short and straight. So that's just something to brace yourself for. When they come off, you are going to think that your lashes shrunk. They haven't. They're still the same. It's just you're so used to the long ones. So yeah, that's kind of my experience. If you have any specific questions, please feel free to leave them down below. I'm sure I missed something. There are always going to be potential risks, so you definitely want to like kind of do your own investigations beforehand. You know, if you find a place that doesn't like, they can't wear latex gloves because they'll catch on them. So they are up there with their real hand, you know, their natural fresh hands. So you want to make sure that, you know, you're going somewhere that's like clean and sanitized. And if you don't have like an experienced technician, there is, you know, potential for your lashes falling out, like if they're not applying it properly. So you just do your research, look at the reviews, look at, you know, talk to the technician. But I've been doing it for a long time now, as I've mentioned, and I really like it. So I'll go ahead and put some before and afters on the screen. For sure, I've got one that is before my most recent fill and then after. And then I will try to see if I can find also up in there my lashes fresh and bare before, but like I said, it's been 6 months, so I might not have a good photo that really, at least that gives you a good view of what they look like. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. If this is something that you were interested in, like I said, I did have a number of people mention that they were curious. A few people also mentioned that because I got laser hair removal on my chin and neck hair, that they wanted to hear kind of about how that went. And I'm actually have an appointment, another follow-up appointment soon, so maybe I'll do a video right after that. But let me know if there are any other videos that you're interested in doing. Like I said, I am totally open to hearing your suggestions, and though this is primarily a weight loss surgery and weight loss journey channel, I don't mind sharing the rest of my life with you guys, and I know I'm curious about this stuff as well, and mostly I'm just nosy and want to know all the things. So I hope you enjoyed, and I'll talk to you all soon. Bye.